Going on? How we doing today? Me, mo máa ń come across àwọn information kan. So, mo máa ń so much wish pé mo ní time láti translate àwọn information yẹn sí Yoruba. So that, because the majority of my friends are Yoruba speaking friends. Sometimes I come across some information that I wish I could have the time to translate that to my mother tongue so that àwọn èèyàn mi máa lè actually benefit nínú àwọn information yẹn but kò sí àkókò. I don't have that time because you're busy pursuing your own life and all that. So because I intend to kind of come over here, do some program in English, do another in Yoruba because I'm getting feedback from people, especially my Yoruba speaking friends, my friends who speak my mother tongue, about how helpful my information has been to them. So, and that's kind of encouraging. But you know, finding time to mix both because I kind of feel like majority of people who are my friends on Facebook uh, do not always grasp the message when it's in English like this. Uh, and the essence of communication is to say something that somebody is going to understand. Yeah, so that's why I'm not even going to respect you when your English is like big grammar English. It go need to more. Because if you do have a pass message, you talk in the tongue of the people you are talking to. You tell them, you let them understand what you're saying. That's the essence of information. What value does knowledge have if it cannot be understood and used? Kí láǹfààní ìmọ̀ tá a ní tí a lè ṣàlàyé ẹ̀ kó yé lómi táwa fúnra wa gan ò lè lò ó? Òun ni mo ṣe sọ pé tó bá fẹ́ gba advice lọ́wọ́ èèyàn, make sure pé ẹni yẹn ní ìrírí ayé tó lọ pẹ̀lú subject tó ń bẹ nìyẹn sọ. The fact pé ẹnìkan jẹ́ ìyá ẹ, ó jẹ́ bàbá ẹ, ó jẹ́ uncle ẹ, kò mean pé ọ̀rọ̀ tó fẹ́ bá sọ yẹn ó ní òye nípa ẹ̀. For example, majority of us are from poor homes, poor families. So if we're looking for financial advice, we're not going to ask our parents. If our parents knew how to become rich, they will be rich. If they knew finance, they're not going to be the way they are. So if you're looking for somebody to consult for economic and financial advice, you're going to go to the experts. And if you know so much about finance and economics, you have no reason not to be wealthy. So if you know so much about finance and you're not wealthy, nǹkan kan ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nìyẹn, there's something happening. So when you're consulting people, make sure that they have the experience, they have the livable experience. They can relate their knowledge to their life experience. Abundance of knowledge without being able to use it is garbage. It is better you have a little and use it. Your knowledge should not just make you knowledgeable, but it should make you do more. Learn something, try it. So once you try it, you can say you are a living experience of what you have learned. Because at this era, we are bombarded with a lot of information. So at the click of the computer, you have the information you want. So it is now like a compulsory endeavor for anyone to be very selective in terms of the knowledge they receive, because you're just going to be bombarded with so much knowledge that even to make a decision would become so hard. Yes, if you want to do something, get as much information as you can. If you get too much information, you won't even start it because you're going to have 1,000 reasons why that thing is not going to work. Just as you're going to have another 1,000 reasons why it might work. Get sufficient information. Just start. Just start, begin. 50 Cent Cent said something that I kind of respect, that we should be smart enough to understand that life is learn as you go, which means we should be smart enough to understand that our experience should educate us. Because I once said that what makes a wise man is experience plus reflection. Because all of us have experience, though an educated person is expected to have more experience simply because he has read books, he has studied the experience of other people, and he has added that to his own experience. That is the edge an educated person has. But experience plus reflection is what makes a wise man. Something happened to me. I sat down and thought about the process. Oh, which means I made a mistake here, here, here. Because I'm not dead yet, I can still live. I'm still living. So once I need to do that thing again, I have learned my lesson. This is an opportunity to do it better. Béèyàn ṣe báyé ń gbé ayé nìyẹn. A máa kọsẹ̀, tá a bá ti kọsẹ̀, a ti mọ bí a ti kọsẹ̀, tá a bá tún lọ síwájú, a ní ṣe mistake yẹn mọ́. So by the time téèyàn ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti bí 18 years old, tó ti ń reflect lórí life ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀, by the time before you get to 35, 40, you start, àwọn nǹkan máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní jọra wọn. Things will start making sense because now you have made so many mistakes that you have learned from. You have mm, you have learned your lessons. You've been smart enough to learn as you go. But a foolish person is that one who makes a mistake and didn't even reflect over it. Ọlọ́run ló kọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Ọlọ́run kí ló, you know, kí ló, you know, don't even go there. Don't even go there. You made a mistake, and now it is God's responsibility to correct your mistake. Then you are the most foolish person on earth. If you have to, hold God responsible for your ignorance, so you've got to be foolish. You've got to be foolish. We should be smart enough to understand that life is learn as you go. And a smarter person is that person who doesn't even wait for that experience before he learns. Ẹni tó ní làákàyè lẹni tó yẹ pé kò dúró fún ìrírí ayé yẹn kó kàn òun kó tó kọ́ ń pa ẹ̀. Látara pé kó gbọ́ ìrírí ayé lọ́tọ̀ àwọn ẹlòmíì, àwọn àgbàlagbà tí wọ́n ti dé bẹ̀rẹ̀, kó mu lò. Kó kàwé oníwèé kan tẹ́nìkan ti kọ tó tọ́jú síbì kan, kó gbọ́ kó mu lò. Bá ṣe ń gbáyé nìyẹn. Tó bá ti yá, tá à ń kó gbogbo ẹ̀, tá à ń já gbogbo ẹ̀ mọ́ra wọn lọ́tún lósì, èèyàn á padà wá jingíri lórí ọgbà. Ẹni yẹn ó mọ nǹkan tó ń ṣe o. Kì í ṣe pé bóyá èèyàn mọ nǹkan tó ń ṣe látilẹ̀, ó padà mọ nǹkan tó ń ṣe nítorí pé kò dúró. Can a past mistake be recovered after a proper finding solution in terms of business failure and educational factor? You see, the successful people are the ones who have made most mistakes. Contrary to what we think that, ẹni tí ò là, the person who is not successful is the one that has made. No, the successful people have made most mistakes. But the difference between a successful person and an unsuccessful person is that That unsuccessful person, after making that mistake, he stopped moving forward. He stopped trying. So he did not give himself the privilege of making another mistake. Because once you have learned your lesson at the first move, the second move, you're not going to make that mistake again. You're going to make another mistake. Definitely. But not that mistake. You have learned your lesson. This reminds me of a time we were very young, and there was this thing in Lagos then, MMM, that everybody was just donating money, and you know, the gimmick that you bring 100,000, you get so much, this foolish investment. My friend, my close friend, convinced me to invest in that business. I put all my money. I took money from my mother. I took money from my sisters, and I put that money in it. And I lost that money. I looked very foolish because it was, that was when I understood the concept of there's nothing like there's nothing. Oh, I forgot the phrase. You can't get something from nothing. I put the money. I lost about 100 and something thousand naira of my mother's money, my sister's money. I looked very foolish. But guess what? Nobody on earth can call me to a business that I don't understand and I won't invest. Nobody will call me to a business I don't understand and I will invest. So I have learned that lesson. And that 100 and something thousand naira has saved me possibly millions now. Because ò ń pè mí sí business tí mi ò mọ̀, kò yé mi, ìwọ ló yé. So báwo ni mo ṣe wá fẹ́ wò pé mo fẹ́ kówó mi lẹ̀ fún ẹ kó? I don't do that. I put my money where my mouth is. So mo ti learn lesson from mistake yẹn láti lè mọ bí mo ṣe máa protect wealth mi moving forward. That is how life is. You make a mistake, you reflect, and do it again in a better way. Do it again in a better way. There is this notion, very téèyàn bá fẹ́ ṣe business, when we want to do a business or we have a project that we want to do, we are so moved emotionally that we are blinded from the reality of certain possibilities. We are so wish we need that enthusiasm to do business. It is important. However, the same enthusiasm is what's going to block our eyes from possible losses. So at the end of the money, we'll lose our money and we are devastated. We are like high on some kind of drug. Now we are low. That is why when you're being moved, when you have something you want to do and you're so moved, that is the right time to calm down, slow it down. Give it some days to reflect, even give it months to reflect. Somebody called me into a business, an investment. It took me 2 years to make a decision to invest because I look at the possibility of losses, high possibility of losses. So I'm like, I'm not going to put my hard earned money in this business. So I was looking for some kind of money that I didn't put too much labor on to earn. So I got that money after 2 years, and I did not even work for that money. Another friend gave me that money as a gift, like, take this money. I'm like, well, this is a good money to put on that risky business. And I put that money on the business, and I lost the money. It was not too painful to me because it was not my hard-earned money. So my caution, my 2-year caution paid off because I told myself, ọmọ kìíní eléyìí ti risky jù. Mi ò lè lọ máa ṣiṣẹ́ iṣẹ́ líle tí mò ń ṣe yìí kí wá kó owó mi kí wá lọ kó sínú business yẹn mi ò ṣe. Mo wá farabalẹ̀ fún bí ọdún méjì tí mo fi rí ìfà téèyàn kan ní ọ̀rẹ́ mi àpàdé mi ìwọ náà gba eléyìí jàre nǹkan mo gba ọpẹ́ o mo wá kó yẹn sí. I lost the money. I lost it. About $7,000. I lost it. Mi ì rí nǹkan kan. But that's caution, even though that was not even wise in retrospect, but you've got to risk. That's how life is. You've got to risk. You've got to believe in something very strongly that you're willing to give it your all. That's what makes success. But then when you're doing that, you've got to open your brain, differentiate between, you know, sensation and reality. Know that you can go move meaning. Surely materialize for real. You know, those are things. So we should be smart in life enough to understand that life is learn as you go. And the smarter person is that person who did not have to wait for an experience to teach him, but learns from other people's experience. That is what makes a successful person. That's what makes a successful person. So the ideology that some people are predestined to be rich, others are predestined to be poor, is a poverty ideology. Is a poverty ideology that somebody is predestined to be poor. That if you belong to any kind of faith that tells you that you are predestined to be poor, change faith. Change faith. Belong to any the faith that tells you that you are predestined to be successful, you are predestined to be rich. Change faith, because that is condescending. Ìbáṣe ọlọ́run ọba jẹ́ ni kí ẹnìkan ní pé kádàrá òun ni pé ọlọ́run ọba ò dá òun dáadáa, ọlọ́run ọba ò dá òun láti lè wà successful nínú ayé. That is actually, to me, that is sacrilege. So let me say this. What if possible that money earn you something surprisingly, that you made a lot from that? What will you say about that? I don't get that. What if possibly that money earn you something surprisingly, that you made a lot? Okay, what will you say about that? Will you say business actually boom and you're lucky of it? Okay, you're talking about the investment and lost money. If I make money out of that investment, that's not luck. The profit is not going to take my eyes away from the risk. I'm still going to understand the risk. I'm not going to put the money that if I lose, my life is going to wreck. I won't put it on it. So I may want to put money on it again, but I'm not going to risk that money that will make me doomed. Am I making sense? Risk, you have to risk. You have to risk. You have to risk. There are no two ways about that. You have to risk. You have to believe in something enough that you're willing to put your all in it. Nǹkan tí wọ́n ń pè ní risk nìyẹn, because in fact, the life we're living is a risk. It's a risk because we don't actually know what's going to happen in the next minute, in the next hour. It's a risk. So you have to risk. Even getting education is a risk because you're not 100% guaranteed that it's going to yield. Doing business is a risk because there's no way to know the result of anything 100% from the beginning. So even kó jẹ́ pé risk kékeré báyìí náà ni, there's still risk, but calculated risk lèèyàn máa ń ṣe. If not, you're gonna lose your capital. And once you lose your capital, tó bá jẹ́ pé àwọn èèyàn kan ni wọ́n ràn yàn lọ́wọ́ from here and there, and now you have lost your capital, how are you going to go back to them to tell them that, oh, I lost my capital because I made a bad business decision? That is why you've got to make sure that the emotion is regulated. Regulate your emotion. Don't be too happy. Don't be too zealot about that business decision. So that Wale, you will reflect here and there, like, ṣé nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ ṣe yìí ṣó make sense ṣá? Ṣé decision tí mo fẹ́ make yìí ṣó make sense? That's the way it is. That's the way it is. Ismail, did I answer your question? Let me know in the comment section. Did I answer your question? And do you have any other question? So, ọ̀rọ̀ tí mò ń sọ lọ ni pé tó bá fẹ́ gba advice lọ́wọ́ èèyàn, make sure pé ẹni yẹn ó mọ̀ ń pa subject yẹn torí pé èèyàn dàgbà kò mean pé gbogbo òrírí ló ní. Kódà, for example, I have an experience with two adults who were great teachers in my life. Uh, Two people. One of them is very bold, very bold. He's going to tell you as it is. If you go to him with any matter for you seek advice, he's going to tell you to face that challenge. You know, if somebody is troubling you, tell him what he has done wrong. You know, that's his own pattern of operation. And this other person who is his friend, who is a very wise man that I respect a lot, if you go to him with to consult him about a matter, he'll tell you to, take it easy, just take it easy, this and that. So later in life, I understood that there are different personalities reflected in the way they advise people. Because this man is a bold person, he wants to take it hands on. But the other man is kind of feminine and he's gentle. He believes so much in maintaining relationship rather than solving the problem once and for all. Like if you challenge him like that, he might feel this, he might feel that. So now I understood later on in life how these two wise people, how their different personalities affect how they advise you. Now I'll take my matter to this man, like, oh, what do you see to this? He will tell me something. I will take the same case to the other man just to hear his part of the story too. Then I'll be like, okay. Then I'll pick the one that I think is most favorable to me and to my own circumstance. But most of the time, I like the bold steps because you're gonna solve the problem hands on instead of maintaining, decorating, and pushing the problem into the future. That's another way. That's another way. So apart from the fact that they have knowledge and experience, their personality is still reflected in their advices, though they are not expert um, consultants, but they are very knowledgeable. So that's one thing. Àwọn òbí wa ibi tí wọ́n mọ̀ dé ni wọ́n gbé dé yẹn. Kọ́lọ́run kẹ́ wọn, Kọ́lọ́run bá wa kẹ́ wọn, àwọn dáṣe lóbi láyé, Kọ́lọ́run bá wa kẹ́ wọn, àwọn tí wọ́n ti lọ, Kọ́lọ́run kẹ́ wọn. Ibi tí wọ́n mọ̀ dé ni wọ́n gbé dé yẹn. So àwọn adájọ́ ọmọ náà la ní láti wá ìsẹ̀ náà fún pé ibi tí dáàdi mọ̀ kíní ìdè lélẹ́yìí o. Àwọn ẹlòmíì wà tí wọ́n mọ nǹkan yìí ju dáàdi lọ. So wàá gbé nǹkan yẹn lọ bá wọn. Another freaking mistake that people make, especially people from our community, another F-up mistake that people make is that because they call people spiritual fathers, maybe a Afao, pastor, or whoever, they think that they know everything. They think that because somebody is a religious leader, he knows everything. That you're foolish. You are foolish to think so. You're very foolish to think that. So you take all your affairs to your spiritual leader, thinking that because they know about the Bible, they know about the Quran, they know that they know everything. They don't know everything. They have problems themselves. There are spiritual leaders who cannot maintain their wife, who do not have the right attitude to live with a woman. There are spiritual leaders who don't understand finance, and you are going to consult them about your financial difficulty. They don't. You taking the subject they don't know to them, and they're not going to tell you they don't know. Now they'll be like, God sent me to you. God said this. That's bull crap. So that's one thing that people should stop doing. If you need marital advice, go to somebody that understands marriage. Go to somebody that's living by example. Consult someone that's living by. If you need financial advice, go to financial expert. All this knowledge are there. Your pastor is not going to teach you how to get money because he doesn't know. The only thing your pastor know is how to have a congregation so that the congregation will donate money to him. And I'm not picking on pastor. The same thing applies to some affairs. some pastors, some are fast. Your religious leader is not going to teach you how to earn more money because they don't know it. If they know how to earn more money, they're going to be businessmen like us. They're going to do business because no matter how much money you're making from people's donating to you, of which businessmen all are not lapa kono because they are taking advantage of muguns. They tell you to donate to the work of God, and they are living large through your own donation. So I don't understand. I, I mean, ni ni era. Back to what you just said about risk. Did you ask any other question? No, not yet. So it is appalling that in this era we still have people who will consult a spiritualist on financial decisions. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And I'm not saying this to downgrade anybody's spiritual belief. No, but I'm just saying on spiritual matters, consult your spiritualists, consult your alpha, consult your pastor on spiritual matters. But when it comes to reality of life, when it comes to your marriage, what do you need to do? You've got to consult experts on marital affairs. When it comes to finance, you consult financial experts. When it comes to your health, you consult doctors. You know, you said, I read a post of yours about betting. Those whom are into betting, most especially now that even some celebrities go into it with their hard-earned money, and not only the poor. And you're telling me that those betting with millions and one will you tell me that is also a financial risk? Let me tell you this. There's a difference between a poor man betting and a rich man betting. When the rich people bet, they are doing it for fun because they've got a business that generates money to them. It is like a rich man going in front of Wasiu Ayinde and giving him thousands, millions of money. This person is rich. He has a business that's generating revenue. He is rich. So he can throw away money as much as he wants because he is rich. He is wealthy. But a poor man, a rich man is betting as a fun game of Shepaji. That's what rich people do with such thing. They're betting, they're using it to cash fund. It is not like they are depending on it. They're doing it as if their livelihood depend on it. It's not good in any manner. But there's a difference between, okay, let me put myself, for example. Let's say I want to bet, and I'm betting 100,000 naira, you know, every month. I put 100,000 naira every month on bet. Then somebody that's foolish will look at me and say, he's betting, because he's betting, I should bet. And you that you are not even making, you don't even know the direction of your life yet. Because the 100,000 naira that I'm gonna bet is bóyá iṣẹ́ ọjọ́ kan ni mo fẹ́ ṣe ni o, bóyá iṣẹ́ ọjọ́ méjì ni. It's there. I don't even have to work for that. You know, ó wà because mo ti ní establishment tèmi tí owó yẹn máa ti wọlé. So there's a difference between a rich man betting and a poor man betting. The poor man depends on that bet, hoping that someday he's going to become rich by betting, while a rich man does it for the fun part of it. Both are not good. Don't if you can control yourself, don't bet. Don't bet. I know of somebody here in America. who used to bet every month with $1,500 every month. I know another person who said for the past 30 years he has bet with over 200 and something thousand dollars. That's enough money that can buy him a house. The person doesn't own a house, he lives in a rented apartment. So bet ruins life. And this other person that I'm telling you about that used to bet for $1,500 was a very rich person. Now the person is not rich anymore. I'm not saying the betting is responsible for taking away the person's money, but part of it ni because of the ẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ ń palàpalàpà ni. So don't put your money on any kind of bet. Don't do it. Don't do it. It is not set up to enrich you. It is set up to enrich the establishment. If we have enough money, we can set up a betting company. We will become richer while other people will become poorer. So that is a no-go area for any reasonable person. For any reasonable, that's a no-go area. Take your money to the restaurant, eat food. Take your money, buy yourself some nice shoes or dress. But don't put your money on betting. It's not good. It's never good. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not gonna make you rich. Betting doesn't make people rich. See, another bad news about betting is that here in America, about is it 60 something or 70 something percent of people who won millions of dollars became poor after about 5 years. So most of the time we think it is money that we need. We don't need money, we need orientation, we need money earning ideology. It's not money. So because people who made it big, they lost their money and they became poor. So àwọn náà rò pé bóyá owó làwọn nídìí nígbà tí wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀. They didn't need money because there's rudimental knowledge to earning money. So we need to have that knowledge first, then build on it. That is why most people who have that rudimental knowledge, even if they lose all their money, they're still going to make more money. They'll make more money again. So don't put your money on betting. It is a sure way to lose your money. Put it on something else. I have piggy bank, mo ní kóló tí mò ń fi owó sínú ẹ̀. Tí n bá ti lọ ra nǹkan tó bá kù change $20, $50 kíní kan mo máa ń fi sínú ẹ̀. Tí n bá fẹ́ lọ sí Nàìjíríà, kóló yẹn ni màá já. Mo ní kóló. So that loose change that you think is insignificant that you can use to bet, anytime you have the urge to use that money on betting, put it in a piggy bank. Fi sínú kóló ẹ̀. You'll be surprised after 6 months or 1 year how much you're going to have in that kolo. So the financial discipline is very important. We have to control our impulsive spending. Bó ṣe wù mí látọkàn mi, mo kàn fẹ́ gbogbo wa ní nǹkan ńlá wù, gbogbo wa ní nǹkan máa ń wù. A máa ń restrict ara wa ni nítorí nǹkan míì tá fẹ́ ṣe. Everybody loves, we love flamboyant life. We love to look big. We love to be highly respected. We love to be honored. We love to drive big cars. We love, all those things. But we have to restrict ourselves, especially when we are not up to that task, so that we can do what is right and then be able to do what we want on the long run. That's the basic sense of economics is in ṣiṣẹ́ nìyẹn o. Save money. I read a quote, where somebody says the person that cannot save money cannot be successful. Success mo mean financial success, success ìpín sóríṣiríṣi o. If you cannot save, you cannot have financial success. And I thought about this statement and I feel like, well, this is true. The reason is, in order for you to be financially independent, you have to have your own thing that you're doing. So how do you start your own thing without saving while working for other people, without getting a big loan, without doing gbà tí ò ń ṣe pé bóyá o jogún owó? So it's savings ló máa help àwa ọmọ mẹ̀kúnnù láti figagbága pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ olówó. So while we are working hard, we save. We save 10% of your earning. We save on the long run. We'll be able to do big things that big people are doing. The money is not going to come out to us in a bulk, but on a gradual process, gbogbo wa la máa padà débi tí tá ń lọ. So, is there any question that you think I can answer? You know, yeah. So, kókó ọ̀rọ̀ mi ni pé ẹni tó mọ̀nà lèèyàn ń tẹ̀lé, ẹni tó mọ ọ̀nà lèèyàn ń tẹ̀lé. Torí pé ẹnìkan jẹ́ spiritual leader ẹ, kò túmọ̀ sí pé gbogbo nǹkan nípa ọ̀rọ̀ ìgbésí ayé ló mọ̀. Ẹni tó pè ní spiritual leader ẹ náà, òun náà ní problem pẹ̀lú ìyàwó ẹ̀, ó ní problem pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀, kò mọ bó ṣe lè ṣe pẹ̀lú aráalé, àwọn òǹkù ẹ̀, àwọn kinní kan ní èdè àìyedè torí èèyàn ní gẹ́gẹ́ bíi tiwa náà. Ìwọ wá lọ bá pé ìwọ ní problem pẹ̀lú ìyàwó ẹ̀, ẹni tó yẹ kó fúnra ẹ̀ gan ní problem pẹ̀lú ìyàwó ẹ̀. So mo ṣe ní, tó bá fẹ́ consult èèyàn, make sure pé ẹni yẹn nǹkan tóun fúnra rẹ̀ ń ṣe nínú ìgbésí ayé ẹ̀, irú nǹkan yẹn ló wù ẹ́. Yeah, you got it. Ẹni tí èèyàn fẹ́ tọpasẹ̀ ẹ̀, èèyàn á ti kọ́kọ́ rí i pé ibi téèyàn ń lọ ló ń lọ. So if you tó bá fẹ́ lọ báyàn fún financial advice, make sure pé ẹnìyẹn gan lówó. Unless ó bá yẹ pé nǹkan tó fẹ́ béèrè lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ is what not to do. Ẹni tó dàgbà tó ti pé bíi 60 years láyé ń sìn, tó ti pé 70, but tí kò fi bẹ́ẹ̀ lówó, tá a bá fẹ́ lọ bá a máa ní, ẹ jọ̀ọ́, kí ni nǹkan tẹ́ ṣe ní láìfù tí kò jẹ́ kẹ́ lówó? Ẹnìyẹn máa sọ fún wa pé nǹkan báyìí ni mo ṣe, nǹkan báyìí. That is what not to do. Tó bá yẹ pé nǹkan tó fẹ́ béèrè nìyẹn, o lè consult ẹnìyẹn. Ẹnìyẹn á sọ nǹkan what not to do fún ẹ. But if you're looking for what to do, you're going to people that have done it. You're going to people that have done it. Mo ti béèrè lọ́wọ́ bàbá àgbàlagbà rí tó jẹ́ bí mentor mi pé ẹ jọ̀ọ́, regret wo lẹ ní life láti kékeré tẹ́ fi di báyìí? Torí pé mo rí pé ẹni yẹn ìmọ̀ tó wà lára wọn ó pọ̀ ju nǹkan tí wọ́n rí ṣe ní life lọ. Mo wá ní pé regret wo náà ní. Wọ́n dẹ̀ sọ fún mi, mo dìímú sọ́wọ́ sí mi báyìí. Èmi náà mi ní sọ ní public nsìn, ẹni private conversation màá sọ nǹkan tẹ́ni yẹn sọ. So if your father could be truthful to you, if your mother could be truthful to you, ask them about the mistakes they made. The purpose is for you not to make that mistake. It is not to mock them, but the purpose is for you not to make such mistakes. If they are going to be truthful to you, ask them their mistakes. Because apparently, they want you to lead a better life than they did. Your parents always want you to lead a better life than them. So if they're going to be truthful to you, ask them the mistakes they made so that you won't make that mistake. But if you're looking for people to emulate, make sure that the people are leading the kind of life you want to lead. If you want to become a pastor, you're looking up to pastors, go to them for consultation. If you're looking to be a teacher, consult teachers, successful teachers, read their books. But if you're looking for financial success, you've got to follow people who are financially successful. That means you are not foolish. That means you're not foolish. That's the theme of my conversation today. Consult who know road, follow who know road. And not be say because somebody they go one place now, it means say where they go, now you they go. So if you dey follow who know road, make sure say the road where in they take you they go. Now where you self won't go. You know, if you're following someone, make sure that who you're following is going where you want to go. I mean, we should be smart to understand that if you're following someone, make sure where they're going is where you want to go. And because the statement is made like that, it uh it's hard for some people to think deep about that statement. It applies to almost all life decisions, not just about following someone on the road or something like that. It applies to almost all life decisions. You know, if you want to become a doctor, I mean, you're going to study doctors and study medicine to become a doctor. So if you want to be financially free, you're going to follow people who've been there, done that. So if you want to fail, that's also very easy. Follow failure. Follow failed people. Follow. I mean, and before I go, there's this simple note that I'm gonna say here. Kí Kamudani sí ọwọ́ òsì ọwọ́ ọ̀tún àbí ká ṣáà tọ́jú ẹ̀ dáadáa. Yorùbá yẹn ti fẹ́ máa ṣe bákan. Ká tọ́jú ẹ̀ dáadáa. You know, there's this notion. It is very difficult for an average person, person to learn from experts because about 5% are successful in any endeavor. About 5% are successful. This now leaves about 95% of people unsuccessful. So the odd is already against us because we are very likely to be living within the community of the 95% of people. So how are we now going to learn from the 5%? So the odd is already against us. Nǹkan tí mò ń sọ ni pé ní gbogbo àwùjọ 5% àwọn èèyàn ni ó máa ń wà successful. So ó ń túmọ̀ sí pé majority àwa èèyàn à ń learn nǹkan tá à ń ṣe láàárín àwọn 95% yẹn. So àwọn unsuccessful people ni wọ́n ń kọ́ wa already. So life wo tiẹ̀ kọ́kọ́ ti balance fún wa náà ní angle bẹ̀yẹn. Life yẹn ò kọ́kọ́ balance torí pé a wà lọ́dọ̀ àwọn tí wọ́n máa kọ́ wa ní nǹkan tí ó lè gbé wa débẹ̀. So àwa òun la ṣe nídìí extra ìgbìyànjú láti lè mọ àwọn tí wọ́n wà ní 5% yẹn. Ẹni yìí ó dàbí pé lára àwọn 5% yẹn lẹni yìí ó jẹ́ ń kọ́ nǹkan lọ́dọ̀ ẹ̀. Ẹni yìí ó lára àwọn 5% yẹn ni ó kọ̀wé báyìí ó jẹ́ ń kọ́. Ẹni yìí ó lára àwọn 5% ni ó máa ń ṣe program báyìí sí Facebook jẹ́ kí n lẹ́ni ẹ̀ o. Àwọn èèyàn gọ̀ débi pé ẹ máa sọ nǹkan lójoojúmọ́ pé báyìí. Kàkà kí wọ́n lọ gbọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn tó jẹ́ pé irú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ èmi tí mò ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí irú àwọn nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ lèmi fúnra mi ń ṣe o. Torí pé èmi náà láwọn mentor, èmi náà láwọn teachers lóríṣiríṣi tèmi gan every day I learn, every day ni mò ń learn tèmi náà ń jíwèé wò. So àwọn èèyàn kan tí wá wà táwọn tí wá wà tí wọ́n tún tó àwà tó yẹ káwọn náà tún máa jíwèé tiwa wò pé okay báwo lè ní í ṣe sọ. But àwọn pípò yìí kàkà kí wọ́n lọ gbọ́ nǹkan wọ́n prefer láti ní bọ̀dá ẹ̀gbọ́n nǹkan ẹ send owó kan sí mi nǹkan mọ́ pé owó yẹn ò lè ṣe nǹkan kan bíi pé kẹ́ ẹ lọ jí wò níbi táwa náà ti ń jí wò àbí kẹ́yìn náà ti já wa wò. You know, without knowing more, without learning more, the same thing tá a ṣe láti gbogbo ọdún wa náà láti máa continue sínú máa ṣe again tí Jésù máa fi dé. Ọlọ́run kankan ò ní change nǹkan kankan pẹ̀lú miracle kankan. Kódà age 33 téèyàn bá ti jẹ́ age 33 wọ́n ní life tiwa ti wà repetitious. A máa máa repeat ìgbésí ayé wa, gbogbo nǹkan tá a ti ṣe tẹ́lẹ̀ náà látún máa ṣe. Unless tá a bá make a active decision yẹn láti lẹ́yìn àwọn nǹkan míì, láti máa rọ́ nǹkan míì sínú ọpọlọ yẹn, ló máa ti àwọn míì tó ti jẹ́ àṣìṣe, àwọn ìbàjẹ́, a máa tì wọ́n sẹ́yìn, àwọn nǹkan tuntun yẹn máa take place. Unless tá a bá fi lè ṣe, tó bá lè pé age 33, o ò kàwé mọ́, o ò gbọ́rọ̀ àwọn èèyàn kan tó lè múvu ẹ, o ò ṣe kínní, I'm very sorry for you, bẹ́ẹ̀ nìyẹn ṣe máa bá kú nìyẹn. And that applies to majority of people. Àwọn tó ti get it right kan tó jẹ́ 33 yẹn, tí wọ́n ti táwọn náà tí wọn ò bá lẹ́nì mọ́, bóyá àwọn náà ti ní lọ́ọ̀kì láti ní àwọn principle kan tó ń gbé wọn lọ, ọmọ máa lọ náà ni. So it is good news as well as bad news. Once we get to age 33, we become a repetition. We become a repetition. So the only way we can stop repeating the negative is by active learning and active doing. You learn. I mean, you decide that you want to know about this subject and you go for it, and you decide that you want to practice what you have learned. That is the good news, because you can change it. But the bad news is that if you don't continue learning, if you don't continue to learn, you're going to remain the same for the rest of your life. It's not kò ń ṣépè, kò ń ṣàdúrà. Àṣẹ Ọlọ́run tó ti wà lórí ẹ̀mí. Ọlọ́run ló dá ọpọlọ, òun ló fix ẹ̀ pa ní age 33. Ó dẹ̀ tún rọra fi gáàpù kékeré lẹ̀ sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ fún ẹni tó bá tún fẹ́ add mọ́, pé gáàpù kékeré wà o, tó bá fẹ́ add mọ́. Kódà gan nǹkan yẹn ló bí ọ̀rọ̀ tí wọ́n máa ń sọ, tí wọ́n fi ń sọ pé destiny àbí kinní kan àbí nǹkan kan, torí pé téèyàn bá ń hùwà kan, wọn ò mọ̀ pé ìwà yẹn ti di repetition sí lára, ẹni yẹn máa repeat ìwà yẹn. So the same result tó rí ní age 25 ló tún máa rí ní 31, ló tún máa rí ní 40. Ó dàgbé kádàrá ẹni yẹn lélẹ̀, torí pé àwọn ò mọ̀ pé brain yẹn ti wà locked up tó bá ti pé 33. So báwo la ṣe fẹ́ ran ẹnìyẹn lọ́wọ́, àbí báwo ni ẹnìyẹn náà ṣe fẹ́ ran ara ẹ̀ lọ́wọ́, àfi kí àwọn ìmọ̀ míì kó máa wọbẹ̀ lóòrèkóòrè, kó dẹ̀ máa take a conscious effort láti change. Ẹni tó ń lu ìyàwó ẹ̀ sìn, àwọn tó ń lu ìyàwó wọn, ó dìgbà tí agbára wọn bá pin kán tó yé máa lu ìyàwó. So báwo la ṣe fẹ́ help ẹnìyẹn? A ní láti máa fún ní, torí pé tó bá ti feel threatened báyìí, ó fẹ́ gbọ́wọ́ sókè ni, tó bá ti feel threatened, ó fẹ́ gbọ́wọ́ sókè ni. Tí kò bá lọ máa lẹ́ẹ̀nì àwọn ọmọ míì nípa tó bá ti feel threatened bẹ́yẹn, jókòó, ṣe báyìí, ṣe gbá, ṣàwo, tí kò bá ní ibi tí àwọn ọmọ yẹn ti ń sọ̀kalẹ̀ sí, bóyá máa bá kú nìyẹn. So Ismail, do you have any other question? Because I want to take my leave now, and I hope I've been able to pass a message. But share, if you listen to this, share it. Let someone else benefit from this conversation. I intentionally mix my conversation with my mother tongue and English. Perhaps it's gonna have a broader audience. So I hope somebody has benefited from this, and somebody is gonna benefit from this. But if you think it is worthy of anything, share it to any other person. The more people that listen, the more somebody is gonna pick something and use it. And that seems to me to be my contribution to humanity. I do not have enough money to share for people. I don't. I'm not there yet. Even if nobody has enough money to share for every human. But there's enough knowledge that can go around if we want it to go around. But entertainment ló máa ń go far, torí pé àwọn èèyàn máa rather hide sínú entertainment láti fi gbàgbé reality. But àwa tá wà real, à ń ṣe nǹkan tó yẹ tó tọ́, nǹkan tó yẹ ká ṣe. So help me share this if you could, and I'm gonna take I'll wait for a minute or two. If there's no question or anything, I'm just gonna leave because I've got work to do. Yeah. Well, I'll take my leave now. So share this if you benefit anything from it. And have a blessed weekend. Bye bye.